It's a fine.
It's a fine.
It's fine. It's a me, Mario. What's up, guys? It's Morgan and welcome back to my channel. I am obviously filming in a different location. I'm filming in my bedroom, which is on the opposite side of my apartment, in hopes that the sun issue isn't quite as bad, because I film in the evening once my son goes to bed, and the sun is just right in front of that window, and I use natural lighting to film. So I'm hoping that because the sun's on the other side and I'm on the other side of the apartment, I'm hoping that things work out a little bit better and the sun isn't glaring off of my face. So let me know what you guys think of this new location, and hopefully the lighting is better. I am a little bit worried about echoing, so we'll see how the sound goes. I'm also a little bit worried about background noise. With just this location, I have to put, see someone just started their car. With this location, I have to put the little stand that I film with outside, just spacing wise, so we'll see how it goes. I may not do it again, but fingers crossed. I posted on Instagram, Facebook, all my social media. If you're not already, make sure that you follow me. I try to, before I film, post a couple different ideas that I have, so that way you guys can take a vote and I really know what you guys are wanting that week from me. It's very, very beneficial. It's very helpful for me, and that way you guys see what you want to see. So I posted it there, and I had a couple different options, one of them being a true crime video and the other one being a story time. And Storytime won by just a little bit, so I will probably do a true crime video next week. Comment below and let me know if that's something that you're interested in, or if that's something that you want to push out. So after people let me know that they wanted to see a story time, I also posted out again about a couple different ideas on stories that I had. And the story that won is, I had a recurring dream throughout my childhood, and I had it from the time, I want to say I was 13 or 14 up until I was just before I was 18. I had all the time. It was the same exact dream every single time, and there's a couple things that led me to believe that it might be supernatural, but I will let you guys be the judge of that later on in the video. And for whatever reason, that just seemed to be what you guys wanted to see this week. So here I am, I aim to please, and I will be telling you guys the dream that I had that I'm pretty sure was supernatural. That said, I would just like to take a quick second and just throw out there, if you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell, so that way you get a notification every single time that I upload. And make sure that you follow me on all forms of social media. I really like to make sure I like to engage my friends, family, whoever on there, so that way I make sure that you guys see what you want to see, and I create a lot of content based off of the interactions and engagement I have on my social media. So make sure that you go and follow me on those if you want to say and what I film for each week. Now that that's out of the way, let's get right into it. So I grew up in this small little beach town where really nothing ever happened. It was a pretty quiet town, and the kind of town where everybody waves at each other, everybody says, hey, hi, how are you, passing on the street. It's the kind of town where my high school was pretty populated. There was, I think, 2,500 students in the class, and my graduating class was pretty large as well. But everybody just kind of knew each other. Everybody was very, very friendly. I really loved growing up there. My grandmother raised me, so my grandmother and I lived in this little apartment complex that was just across the street from the high school. We moved around quite a bit, but we lived in this particular apartment complex for, I think, about 5 years. From the time that I was in 7th grade up until late my junior year, so just before my the summer between my junior and senior year. We still lived in the same, we lived 2 apartment complexes over, so we lived a mile away, so we still stayed local after we lived in this apartment complex, but we just moved apartments, if that makes sense. So we lived there for about 4.5 years, and this dream started just a few weeks after we moved there. And let me just preface by saying I'm sorry if I get a little bit emotional talking about this. I swear it's not staged, it's nothing like that. It's not. But it took me a long time after we moved to really be able to fully talk about it. I couldn't really talk about this dream as I was having them because they were so vivid, they were so real to me, that I 100% thought that it was fact. it truly felt like a movie. It felt like something that I had experienced in a past life. It was so bizarre. But so about a year after we moved, I was able to talk about it and really be open about it and really start with that. But every time I talked about it, I would start to cry, because it felt so personal, and it felt like something that had happened in my life. This dream started just a few weeks after we moved here, and it would happen like maybe once every couple months, once a month. And then after about a year, it started happening like once a month. And then every 6 months after that, it happened more frequently. It started becoming almost a nightly occurrence. And then things just kind of escalated. But this particular dream, it would start, and it was so vivid. I can still remember every single detail. I was in my apartment, but it didn't look like my apartment. It wasn't our stuff. It was the same apartment. Everything, it wasn't quite as updated. Everything was a slightly older model. It wasn't our stuff. So like, we had one particular layout. Our couch was here. Our TV was right where the camera is, and it was just very particular how my grandmother liked it laid out. And it wasn't the same when I was in this dream. But I knew that this is where I lived, and I had this person with me who I knew was my best friend. Real life Morgan, like my best friend growing up. Let's call her Sarah. And so my best friend was Sarah, but this dream state, this person was not Sarah, but I knew that she was my best friend, and we're hanging out, whatever, we're talking, we're watching something, we're dinking around the apartment, and all of a sudden I look outside and it's kind of foggy, and I know that we need to run. I know that something is after us, and I know that we're not safe in my apartment. I grab Sarah and I say, we need to run. And so we run outside, and I was on the second floor, and my window overlooked like this pool and the cabana and the other apartments. The thing about this apartment complex was it was on a nature preserve, and there wasn't a whole lot of nature left. I'm guessing they had expanded. They built a whole bunch of apartments, and then the county stepped in, or the city, and said, hey, like, you need to calm down. We really love our nature. We really love this land that we're on, so you guys need to stop building. This particular moment in time, so this dream state that I'm in, there's much more greenery. So there wasn't just as many apartments. So it looked like it was maybe like early on in the construction. I'm not really quite sure, but there was more greenery. So I grabbed Sarah's hand and I opened the door, and it was a pretty small apartment. It's, I think, probably smaller than the one I have now. And we run out the front door. The front door opens up into a corridor, and then immediately to your left there's stairs that go down, because we're on the second floor. So we run out, we take a left, and I look around, I kind of scan the area, and haul ass down the stairs, and I look to my right, and I see this tall figure. I see this tall man. I can't make out his features. He's just tall, he's a big guy, and he has a hat on, and I can't really make out his face. All I see is kind of like this shadow. It's just broad, and I know that this is who we're running from. I know that he's a danger to us. I know that he means us harm, and I know that if we don't run away, that he will probably kill us. That's just, I knew it. I knew that to be fact. So I see him, and I say, we need to run. So we take off, and God, I can still feel the branches hitting the sides of my face and my arms. You know that scene in Snow White where she's just, everything around her's looking at her and pulling at her? It was similar to that. It was so vivid. And I know that if I stay in the parking lot, or I stay in the field that we were in, I know that like we're easy targets, because he can see us. So as much as I didn't want to, and I knew that it was a gamble, and just this dream state of me, I knew that it was dangerous, but I grabbed her hand and I drug her into the forest, and it was dense and it was hard to see, and I knew that people would not really be able to hear us, people couldn't see us, but at that particular moment in time, I also knew that was our best shot. So we ran, and I have in my hand, I'd grabbed a flashlight on our way out, and so I have a flashlight in one hand and I have her hand in the other, and we're running, and so I hear her go, say something, and I look over to her, and then I look behind me, and I see him. He's right behind us, and I look up, and there's just this thing in front of us, and I can't tell, it all happened so fast. As hard as I look back on it, as hard as I think, I just can't figure out what it was. But something came in front of us. I don't know if it was a deer, there was a lot of wildlife, but something popped up in front of us. So I immediately pull her to the ground. I didn't like our odds. I immediately pull her to the ground, and I look up. And I wake, and I see him standing over us. And I wake up just as he reaches for us, because he's reaching over us with one hand, and I see a knife in the other. And I wake up, and I'm in my bedroom, safe, but my heart is racing. It's the kind of dream where I would be like laying flat and pop up, because it was just so vivid. I would wake up shaking, sweating, crying, and out of breath. It was so vivid that when I would wake up, like obviously there was nothing in my hands because I'd been sleeping, but it was so vivid to me and so realistic that when I woke up, I would be clutching a flashlight with one hand and like my friend's hand with the other. That was how I woke up, and it was happening more and more frequently, and like I said, it happened like every other month for a few weeks, and then it was starting happening every month. And over the course of those 4.5 years that I lived there, in the last like 1.5 or 2 years, I was having them almost every single night. It was so scary to me. It was just so overwhelming that I didn't really talk about it with anybody. Every time I tried to bring it up and start talking about it, I would start to cry because it was just so terrifying. We ended up moving because I kept raising our rent. We ended up moving like 1.5 miles down the road, not even. And like I said, it was happening every night. It was happening all of the time. As soon as we moved, immediately, I never had the dream again. Yeah, it was I've never had it again. As soon as we moved from that apartment. It's a really small town, so I tried Googling things. I tried Googling murders. I tried Googling like my age and like missing people, and for whatever reason, it never happened again, and I never found out anything about missing people or whatever. I never figured it out. I could never find a link between somebody who had lived there before me and any wrongful or suspicious anything that happened. I know a lot of people don't believe in the supernatural, but my family and we are firm believers that don't get it wrong, we're not psychics, we're not anything. We just are all in agreement in the fact that we all think that we're a little bit more sensitive to things like that. We just believe, and all things strange and spooky and supernatural and paranormal like that, it's just something that we believe in. And we are firm believers that because we believe in those things, that it just opens us up to be more sensitive to things like that. Like my family, like my aunt and my uncle and my mom, and they all have so many stories about supernatural occurrences that happened in their lives when they were a kid. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And do you guys think it was supernatural? Do you guys think that it was just something that weird happened to me because I watched too much true crime and watched too much scary shows? It happened for a good chunk of my life. Like a quarter of my life it was happening, and as soon as I moved it stopped. So yeah, that's it for me this week, guys. And like I said, make sure that you guys comment down below if you guys want to see a true crime video next week. It's something I'm really excited in. I want to dabble in true crime a little bit and kind of see what you guys think of that. If you guys are violently opposed to it, obviously let me know, and I won't, but I want to bring this passion of mine forward and to you guys and see if you guys like the same thing. So I think that I'm going to do that next week, but like I said, make sure that you follow me on all forms of social media, because I will probably post here in the next couple days about a couple different ideas that I have for next week's video, and if you guys want to say in that, then that is going to be where I'm going to post it. And on your way out, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell notification, like I said, so that way you get notified every single time that I upload. And like this video if you liked it. It was definitely something a little bit different from the content that I've been creating. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to support me and watching my video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. My neighbors are gonna think that I'm crazy and talking to myself because I am filming with the door this like giant window wide open because it's really hot in here.